Welcome back to the Ryoko Show. I'm so excited to have you with me today. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. I'm Ryoko, and in this space, we talk about creating a life that's true to you, living authentically, prioritizing what matters most, and aligning your actions with your deepest desires. We are already into February. What do you want this year to be? What kind of experiences, growth, or changes do you want to create? Maybe you've set some intentions, or maybe you're still figuring out what you want. One thing I know for sure is that creating space in your lives, physically, mentally, and emotionally, is a key step to making room for things that truly matter. In today's episode, we are going to dive into why creating space is so important and how it can help you let go of distractions, focus on your purpose, nurture your relationship, and prioritize your self-care. It's all about freeing up that mental space so you can step into this year with clarity, joy, and purpose. Let's get started. So, what do I mean by creating space? When we talk about creating space, it's not just cleaning your closet or decluttering your desk. Yes, that's part of it, but the real magic happens when we start to look at space in a deeper way. Space isn't just physical, it's also mental and emotional. When we make room in our lives for what truly matters, we open up the possibilities for new clarity, peace, and alignment. Let's break it into 3 areas where you can create space: physical space, mental space, and emotional space. First, let's talk about physical space. I know many of us have busy lives. Maybe you are juggling work, family, personal projects, and everything in between. But here's the thing. Our environment has a huge impact on our mindset and productivity. If our physical space is cluttered or chaotic, it can feel like our mind is cluttered too. Think about it for a second. How do you feel when your space is messy or disorganized? For most people, it feels stressful or overwhelming, and that stress can make it harder to focus on the things that matter. But when we create a clean, organized environment, it's like we are making room for more clarity and peace. I'm not saying you need to go on a massive cleaning, but maybe take a moment to look around your space. Is there anything that's no longer serving you? Are there old items that you are holding on to out of habit or guilt? Creating space physically might mean getting rid of things you no longer need or organizing your surroundings in a way that feels calming to you. One simple tip is to start with one small area. Maybe it's your desk or closet. Spend just 10 to 15 minutes clearing out and see how you feel afterward. You might be surprised at how freeing it is to let go of things that no longer align with who you are or where you're headed. Next, let's talk about mental space. Our minds are constantly running. We are always thinking about what's next and what we need to do or what we should have done. It's easy to get caught up in this mental noise, and when we are overwhelmed with thoughts, it's hard to focus on what truly matters. And this is where creating mental space becomes really important. When we allow ourselves to clear out the mental clutter, we create room for clarity and focus. But how do we do that? One of the best ways to create mental space is by letting go of unnecessary distractions. This could mean reducing the time you spend on social media, setting boundaries around your work hours, or saying no to things that don't align with your goals. Another way is through mindfulness practices like meditation, journaling, or deep breathing. These practices allow us to quiet the mind, refocus, and connect to the present moment. When we are not constantly thinking about the next thing, we free up space to focus on what's really important to us. Next, let's explore emotional space. Emotions are powerful. They can motivate us, guide us, and even teach us. But sometimes our emotions, especially the negative ones, can take up so much space in our hearts and minds that we struggle to move forward. Maybe we are holding on to old hurt, anger, or regret. Maybe we are stuck in fear or worry about the future. Creating emotional space means letting go of the emotional baggage that holds us back. This doesn't mean suppressing our emotions or pretending that everything is okay. It means acknowledging our feelings, then choosing to release what no longer serves us. One powerful way to create emotional space is through forgiveness. Forgiveness isn't just for others, it's also for yourself. When we forgive ourselves for past mistakes or regrets, we free up emotional energy to focus on the present and the future. Another practice is to set emotional boundaries. This means not taking on the emotions or expectation of others. Another practice is to set emotional boundaries. This means not taking on the emotions or expectations of others. It's about protecting your emotional energy and choosing not to absorb negativity that's not yours to carry. And lastly, self-compassion is the key. Be kind to yourself as you go through the process of letting go. It's okay to feel emotions, but it's okay to release what isn't helping you grow. So why is creating space so important? When we clear out the clutter, physically, mentally, and emotionally, we create room for the things that truly matter. We make space for our purpose, our relations, and our self-care. We free ourselves from distractions, limiting beliefs, and old patterns that no longer serve us. Imagine how much more clarity and joy you could experience if you stop filling up your life with things that do not align with your true desires. Imagine how much more energy you could devote to your goals and the people who matter most to you. When we let go of things that weigh us down, we create a life that feels lighter and more intentional and more aligned with who we truly are. Now you might be wondering, how do you start creating space in your own life? So here are 3 simple steps to get started. 1, assess your current space. Take a look at your physical, mental, and emotional space. Is there clutter or distractions that you need to clear out? Is there any emotional baggage that's holding you back? And be honest with yourself about what's not serving you. 2, let go of what no longer serves you. Start small. Maybe you get rid of one physical item that's been weighing you down. Or maybe you choose to let go of one negative thought pattern that's keeping you stuck. Start with one thing and feel the relief that comes with it. 3, create room for what truly matters. Once you've created space, ask yourself, what do I want to focus on this year? Whether it's your health, relationships, career, or personal growth, make sure you're dedicating time and energy to the things that bring you joy, fulfillment, and purpose. A few years ago, during the pandemic, I felt really stuck. I didn't know what to do or how to move forward. My mind was cluttered and I had so much anxiety, and my surroundings reflected that chaos in my mind. So one day, I got so sick of feeling this way and I decided to declutter. I had things in my home that I no longer needed, and clearing them out, both physically and emotionally, felt like a weight lifting off my shoulders. It wasn't easy. I had attachments and fear of letting go, or not having enough, or of change. But acknowledging those fears was liberating. I thanked the item for their role in my life and I let them go. Once I created that space, I made room for what truly matters and stepped into a new chapter of my life with more clarity and confidence. So as we step into 2025, I encourage you to take a moment and ask yourself, what can I let go of? What's no longer serving me? And what can I make room for in my life that truly brings me peace, joy, and fulfillment? When you create space for what matters, you make room for new possibilities, and you give yourself the gift of a life that's more aligned, intentional, and authentic. Well, that's all for today. Thank you so much for being there. If you like this episode, please share it with your friends and family. And feel free to reach out to me on social media, and you can check out the show notes on how to connect with me. And if you are ready to go deeper on this journey, go to the show notes and grab a free guide to build your inner world foundation to transform your life. Until next time, keep shining.